I have a little bonus video for you today. This is me trying out the Too Faced Born This Way foundation again. I know I've already uploaded a first impressions video, but I was going to put it on my face anyway. I'm going to try the different shade because I haven't tried the vanilla yet. I've only tried nude, and I'm going to just use a beauty blender today, which, apologies, does need a wash. And I'm going to use a primer today as well. Now, I've had this primer for ages. It's the Rimmel Fix and Perfect one, and I absolutely hated it when I first used it, but I think that's because I made the mistake of just kind of putting it everywhere. And I think from what I've heard, if you just kind of focus it on the areas that you need it, that's the way to go. So that's what I've got for you today. Little bonus video. Not sure if it'll be interesting, but anyway, this is Too Faced Born This Way beauty blender and a bit of primer. So let's just zoom you in. Okay, so start with the primer. I'm not going to use very much, like literally. Is it going to come out? There we go. Like that much. I don't like to overdo chucking too many things on my face. I have exfoliated as well this morning, so that'll be interesting to see how it compares to wearing from last time. My main sort of pore problem areas are my cheeks, so where I'm putting it on now. And my nose. And of course my forehead. It's quite a smooth primer, it's nice, it's not overly silicone-y feeling, which I quite like. I'm still sort of searching for a really nice primer, so if anyone's got any recommendations for oily skin, you know, skin like mine, then let me know in the comments, because I'm open to trying some more. But you know, compared to some other primers that I've used that I hate, that are just too thick and they just feel like they're sitting on your skin, this one's not too bad. It does just kind of disappear. I don't know why I hated it when I first got it, and I just ended up putting it away and not using it again. But I thought I would just dig it out. Anyway, onto the foundation. So this... This is Too Faced Born This Way in Vanilla. Now, I mentioned in my first impressions video how runny this stuff is, so it's kind of good that I've got a bit more experience with this product now, so this is probably going to be more of a fair review, I would say. And this colour was a lot more yellow on me, as you can probably tell. If anything, through the viewfinder, it's not doing the yellowness of this colour justice at all. But what I'd like to try and do today is maybe build it up a bit, just to see if it will sort of dry down, because it did dry down, but if it can be built up at all over certain areas. We're not really going anywhere today, we're just having a really lazy day today. I've got some comfy clothes on. It's Sunday, so it's a nice lazy day today. And I've got my favourite pair of socks on. Random fact about me, I love socks. They're ones that my mum gave me, and if you're very lucky, I'll insert a clip of me wearing them. Now, something I can tell you straight away, which I don't think is translating all that well on the viewfinder. This is extremely yellow. I look kind of normal in the viewfinder, but I can honestly tell you I'm kind of custardy right now. Which is why I wasn't too bothered about trying this today. I haven't tried this shade yet, but I just thought I would give it a go, because like I said, we're not really going anywhere. So I wasn't too worried if it was going to work out a bit. Right, so that's one coat sort of dabbed all over my face. I meant to walk you through like some of the issues on my skin before I covered it up, but it's all the same stuff as usual, you know, pigmentation you may well have seen anyway, and my usual chin area, which I'm just going to try and cover up now. This stuff is very thin, and it a little bit does go quite a long way, which is I think why I quite like applying it with the Beauty Blender. On. That's you zoomed out a little bit just so that you can see the comparison for the rest of my body, and it's not looking too bad actually. I think once I've got some more makeup on, this is probably quite passable. I remember when I first really got into face makeup when I was a lot younger, and if you got a shade wrong, oh my god, it was a nightmare. You had that lovely orange foundation line like a mask. And I think they're a lot more forgiving, generally speaking, nowadays, because you can blend them so much easier. I found that with the Tarte Amazonian Clay foundation as well. I feel I can get away with quite a few of their shades as well, which makes for a nice change. It's feeling a little tacky still, but it does feel like it's dried down a bit. So I'll keep you zoomed out and we'll just apply another layer. This is where things go wrong and it ends up too heavy looking, but you can but try, hey. And this is what I'm trying to do for you guys. I'm trying to help you by doing these things to myself. That's the next layer done. I think that's probably as far as I want to take it, because from what I can tell on the viewfinder, this looks like an amazing match. In real life, it looks like I've been on holiday, which I'm really surprised at. I mean, I knew when I did the swatch comparison in my first impressions video, I knew that this one was a lot more yellow. Maybe it's just because I don't really have yellow undertones, I have more pinky undertones, but I think it's semi-passable. We'll find out when I see my husband in a minute and he'll let me know. But I'm just going to finish off doing some very basic rest of my makeup and I will be right back. Okay, so there we are with the rest of my makeup done. Pretty minimal today, but then that's kind of me every day. It seems to have built up quite nicely. It still looks, you know, fairly natural. The colour seems to have calmed down a little bit from when I initially put it on. I'm still looking a lot more pale than I am in real life, so I'll see if I can try and film somewhere where it's a bit more representative of reality. But there you go. I think it's covered my difficult chin area really nicely, and again I don't think I'm going to use any concealer. I'm just going to see how it goes, because sometimes I think when you put too much on it can start to accentuate an area rather than just try and make it seem like, you know, there's nothing there. But I think it's covered my pigmentation issues quite nicely. Some areas are still peeking through a little bit, but I'm not too worried about that. I've not even bothered with under eye concealer today. So this is just purely the foundation on its own, with a little bit of primer as well. So I probably won't bother doing a midway check-in. I'll probably just do some final thoughts after I've worn this for the rest of the day. So I noticed when I started looking at some of the footage that the lighting probably wasn't a great representation of how it was in reality. So I thought I'd film this little clip for you, just showing you how it actually was in real life, so not too custody. you can see that it's actually covered my horrible chin area pretty well actually with no concealer, and that just does not happen ever. Sorry about that nasal shot there. And yeah, it's actually looking quite nice and lightweight and natural. So I have a smile on my face and a spring in my step. So this is my final check-in for today. I'm going to be taking the makeup off quite soon because it was just a case of kind of testing it out colour-wise before I go out into the big wide world with it on my face, and everyone kind of goes, "Oh, it's Custard Girl." But I think this is the best lighting to give fair representation. I will have to check when I edit this, because when I went into my room, which is where I filmed some of the other earlier stuff, and I watched the footage back, it just wasn't quite right. Oh, so frustrating. But I think this is looking pretty good, so I'm just going to take my glasses off. So I think I'm kind of in the unique position of being able to get away with two colours, which is kind of similar to how I was with the Tarte Amazonian Clay foundation, because I think I've got 4 different colours of that and I've worn all of them, and no one's sort of said to me, "Are you okay? You're looking a bit ill." So I'm assuming I'm getting away with these things unless everyone's being really polite, which, you know, if anyone's watching that I know, please can you tell me if I look awful? I'd really appreciate it. It's scientific. But anyway, back to this foundation. Hopefully this is coming across quite well, but I mean, aside from the glasses marks, which there's nothing that is going to resolve that one, it's just something we have to live with, it's actually gone really nicely. No other concealer, this is just pure foundation, a bit of primer. The one thing that was a bit weird is I went a bit oily, and I went oily in the areas that I'd used the primer, and the primer was supposed to be good for controlling oiliness, so I don't know what that's all about. That was the only thing I did different to last time, so I think on the primer front more testing is required. I do have some of the Tarte primer left, which I'll have a go with, because I've used that with a few other foundations and I know it's a really good one, so I'll test it with that and see how it goes. But I don't know, guys, what do you think of the colour? Do you have a preference between the vanilla or the nude? The nude was in my first impressions video. I think they're both sort of passable, really. I mean, my very honest husband seemed to be nodding his head and yeah, it's fine. I always kind of like go, "How's my face?" And he's like, I don't know what the right response is to this, but generally it's very honest, so that's appreciated. But yeah, I'm really liking this foundation. It's very lightweight, which I mentioned quite a lot in my first impressions video. But it's a really nice summer weight foundation because it's so light. It still gives you the coverage that you need, but it just feels very light. It doesn't feel like you've got a ton of stuff on your face, and considering the amount of coverage that you get and the fact that normally I'm having to put concealer all over the place as well, I think it's pretty blooming good. The fact again that they mentioned that it's supposed to be like your skin but better, I would totally go with that, because you can tell that I've exfoliated this time because it hasn't clung at all to any of the few dry patches that I have. But it just looks sort of natural, luminous. This area is not only a difficult area to cover, but it can get kind of dry and scabby and scaly and quite horrible looking, and foundation after a while tends to cling and settle and just look just really nasty in that area. and this is still not looking, you know, too bad, so I'm very impressed. So I hope you enjoyed this little random bonus video. Let me know which of the colours that you preferred if you've watched both videos. So the first impressions was nude, this one was vanilla, or as I like to call it, custard, because wowee was it yellow. Let me know which one you think suited me better, because sometimes I really struggle to just work it out. Sometimes it's really obvious, but it just doesn't seem that obvious this time. But I hope everyone's well, and I will see you again soon. Bye!